Welcome back, viewers at home. We know that, the matriculants are currently busy with their matric final. And it's quite important that, we give them a bit of insight in terms of how they can maximize this time to get the necessary marks that will get them to their, preferred career or study field. And for that, I am actually joined by Faaizah Laher, who is a registered dietitian. And I think my focus particularly will be around foods that can help fuel the brain so that they become less, dependent on those energizers that we know are not really quite healthy for one to consume. And I think we'll look at how it can actually fuel the brain, enhance concentration, and improve mental focus through healthy eating. I mean, from the likes of nuts and seeds to leafy greens and omega-3 rich foods, Faaizah will provide valuable insight on the best nutritional powerhouses to support students during their crucial time of exams. Faaizah, assalamu alaikum and jazakallah so much for joining us this evening.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me on this evening. It's a pleasure to give your listeners and your viewers my time to give them more insight into this very important time of the year.
We truly appreciate that. Now, before we get to, handing out the tips and the tricks on what to eat to remain quite mentally focused and concentrated, can you tell us a bit on what really got you through to the field of, being a registered dietitian?
I've always been fascinated by how food can either fuel us or slow us down. And as I grew up, I also noticed how food brought us together at weddings and at functions, at funerals. So I also noticed how different meals affected my own energy and my focus. But it wasn't just about food for me, it was also about being able to help people and help them to feel their best. And as a dietitian, I really got to combine my passion for science and feeding my best and helping others feel their best in terms of their mood and their energy and their overall health. And, I got married and I became a mom, and I also wanted to ensure that my family always had the best in terms of nutrition. And that really inspires me every day to help others feel the same about nutrition.
Now, before we get to what to eat or what to prioritize when it comes to, your nutritional diet, can you tell us a bit on, that important relationship, if there is any, and I believe there is, between, what you eat or rather diet and the cognitive function?
So the food we eat directly impacts how our brain is going to work. And just like how a car needs the right type of fuel to run smoothly, our brain also needs specific nutrients to stay sharp, focused, and energized. So a balanced diet really provides vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats that helps our brain focus, process information, retain memory, and to stay alert. So the other part of this is what many of us don't realize is that our biggest nervous system actually lies in our gut, from our stomach directly into our large intestine. And we actually call this the second brain. And the connection between our gut and our brain is really, really strong. And what we eat really influences our mood, our concentration, and our stress levels. But when we fuel our gut with nutritious, fiber rich fuels and healthy foods, we actually help to improve our cognitive function and our mood, and in turn, reduce that anxiety and help us think more clearly. So I remember when I had matric exams, I had the worst digestive systems. I'd feel so nervous, my tummy would feel upset, and I'd have like that butterfly feeling. And what I noticed was when I ate better, those symptoms actually diminished or they went down just because I ate a little better. And that really supported me going through into my exams. And I noticed this in university as well. When I ate better, my symptoms were much more less and I could focus on the task at hand as opposed to worrying about, do I need to get to the bathroom ASAP?
We know students most times, especially the matriculants, are always told, do not prepare only final year. Prepare once the year begins, where you study, you make sure, you're putting in the work so that the final comes, at least it's like smooth sailing. And I believe this is the same thing with eating healthy. Do not wait, to eat the foods that can help you with your concentration now that you're, towards your final, but it's something that should be embedded in you from as early as you can. Now, from you, what would you say is something that some of the foods would you recommend for students to partake in that really speaks positively to their mental focus?
Okay, so there are many foods that contribute to better focus and concentration. It works together with a healthy, balanced diet, like you said. You know, if you're preparing your body from the start of the year, then by the time you get to exams, you really are prepared in terms of mind and body. But my few top brain boosting foods are number one, berries. They are rich in antioxidants, and they also help to improve memory and cognitive function. Number two is nuts and seeds. They are full of healthy fats. They support our brain health, and they also keep us energized. And then whole grains. And I think everybody is so quick to, hate on this type of carbohydrate. We always reach for the white stuff, but the whole grains provide us with that steady release of energy that we need as the exam goes into that 1-2 hour sort of zone. It helps us to really focus a little bit longer. And then dark chocolate is great. It's lower in sugar. It helps to improve brain function and mood. And it's also rich in flavonoids, which is really great for concentration. And then including a serving of leafy greens like spinach is packed with vitamins and helps to boost our brain health.
What would you be some of your, practical advices when it comes to incorporating a healthy diet in one's, daily meals, especially to students? Because most of the, matriculants, they crave the likes of snacks, and they feel like, you know what, I prefer this because the reasons are quite numerous. But how do they then practically incorporate it into their diet, in that sense that, they can have your berries on the side while studying versus having a can of Coke, if I can say so?
Oh, definitely. And remember, feeling hungry is just your body telling you that I need more fuel. And our brain is really metabolizing, and it needs all of that energy. It's almost like, the car running at full speed. Now we need to keep the petrol level going, or keep filling up so that we don't run low. So what you want to do is just in each meal include 1 or 2 items that I've mentioned. So for example, at breakfast, start off with adding some berries into your cereal, or adding a handful of nuts into your oats, or you can do both, right?
Okay.
If you're eating lunchtime, maybe swap that refined meal, say for example, a takeout for maybe a stir fry, a piece of chicken and a little bit of rice, much more nutritious and giving you a little bit more in terms of nutrients as opposed to a fast food item. And then at supper time, think of including something like, a piece of fish, or a veggie, or even a whole grain wrap will lead you much more into energy in terms of that, supporting your body during that exam time. We also want to remember that we want to have a high protein supper the night before a big exam. And we want to start off with a high protein meal that morning, because these meals are slower digesting. They, they keep us going for a little bit longer, as opposed to a quick digesting cereal or an item that gets you hungry really, really quickly. And by having more protein, it means slow release energy, keeping us fuller for longer, keeping us focused during that exam. So don't skip your breakfast on the day of your exam. Wake up a little earlier, do a little bit of deep breathing, and also try to include a breakfast well before you need to leave home, so you don't feel rushed and you feel relaxed as you're getting into your exam venue.
Faiza, another thing that we tend to see in the culture of hard working or perceived hard work is this thing of, oh, I forgot to even drink my water today, or even like, I didn't sleep well. And I think this sort of affirms a person that you're actually working hard. But in all honesty, I believe this negatively impacts one's body. In terms of, maintaining good health, and in the spirit of, healthy eating, what role does, sleeping as well as hydration play in maintaining that cognitive function?
So hydration and sleep are both crucial for your brain to work at its best. And if you are dehydrated, or even just a little bit, it can affect your ability to focus and make decisions. So keep a water bottle with you on hand while you study. That simple habit can make a big difference. Try to decrease the amount of caffeine that you drink during this time, right? Try to get to bed at a reasonable amount of time, just so that your body and your brain can consolidate that work that you've learned that day. Pulling all nighters might seem like a good idea, but without enough rest, your brain won't be able to retain as much information or function at its full capacity during that exam. So, a water bottle, getting into bed early, close the books, switch the lights off, get to bed at a reasonable time so that you can wake up a little earlier the next day and feel refreshed and energized for the day ahead.
Now, just to close off our conversation, what are your closing thoughts and what words of advice would you share not only to, our matriculants, but also like parents out there who, really need also their mental focus to go about their day?
So, my advice is just to focus on balance. It's not about being perfect, it's about making small changes that add up at the end of the day. Start with drinking more water, adding more brain boosting foods to your meals, and make sure you're getting enough sleep. Remember, food is fuel for your brain, so choose them wisely. And to all our matric students out there, wish you luck for your exams. You've got this.
Jazakallah so much, Faaizah, for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers at home, that was Faaizah Laher, who is a registered dietitian. Now, as you heard from her, try and incorporate some of these healthy and quite brain generating, or rather, cognitive assisting foods within our meals, and ensuring that, we eat healthy, we do not forget to sleep well, and definitely drink our water. But unfortunately, that's where we close it off for now. Let's head over to an ad break. See you when we come back.